Hey everybody, Brian King here. Welcome to another episode of The Compassionate Dad, where we are going to make the world a more compassionate place, one child at a time. I'm so excited for the guest I have today. His name is Tim Rhode, and he has an organization called One Life Fully Lived. And I want you to note this website, the number one, lifefullylived.org. Tim and I had a conversation before we went live here, and I was so excited, so jazzed by the energy he has and what he's doing that I hope we're going to be able to replicate some of that content right now so you can hear it too. What Tim is doing out there in the world is second to none in terms of his generosity, the people he has chosen to help as his life mission. And there is just so much alignment between what he's doing and I'm doing that I'm not only thrilled to be connected with him, but I can see that I'll be able to call him friend at some point as well. So Tim Rhode, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Brian. I'm most excited and just would love connecting with new communities and spreading what we call the One Life vibe.
So the first thing for a little context is, and you were telling me a little bit before we went live here, is the story of your life and how it led you to what you're doing now.
Yeah, it really had a lot to do with why I have such a passion for the little guy, the person who's kind of getting their butt kicked out in the world. Because for the first, about half of my life, I was that person and got off to a late start. I was a late bloomer. Really wasn't a good student. I'm very ADD. I didn't fit into the school model. I had no idea why I was supposed to learn the endoplasmic reticulums and the periodic tables. So I looked up at 25 years old and I was like a part-time grocery clerk painting addresses on people's curbs to buy diapers for my two small kids. And then things started to get better and I was able to retire young. And for the last 7 years, I've been dedicating most of my time, my career now, is just helping those who are lost find hope, purpose, passion, and a plan to get somewhere with their lives.
So you went from financial struggle to financial prosperity, and you were able to use that to retire and focus on doing some social good.
Yeah. I found my niche was selling real estate. I love talking to people. I've always loved playing Monopoly when I was a kid. And I just put the two of those together. I worked really hard. I delivered very good service. And I sold like 2,500 homes over 15 years. What I did different than most, though, is as my income increased every year, my expenses didn't increase. And I looked at where's that money going? And I learned how to invest wisely. And so I was able at 40, I looked up and I had enough money coming in from what we call passive income to, like I owned real estate properties and notes and stuff to where if I chose, I didn't have to work anymore. And that's one of the things we teach at One Life Fully Lived. It's kind of like the business of your life.
That's a very interesting concept. Are you talking like structuring your life and thinking of it as almost like an entrepreneurial venture?
Yeah, there's a book called The E-Myth. And in the E-Myth, they talk about working on your business, not in your business. When you work in your business, like when you're working with clients and helping them with ADHD and autism issues, that's the technician piece of your business. But as you know, as a business person, you also have to do the books, you have to do the marketing, you have to do all the entrepreneurial things that lead towards a successful business. Well, One Life Fully Lived, I look at it like we help people work on the business of your life. And I told you before, we created something called My One Life Roadmap, which we jokingly call the class you wish you had in school. And we teach life's basics, which are who am I at my core? And this is so important. So you find out you can do a career that best suits who your personality is. And let me tell you some of the questions is do I like to be by myself? Do I like to be with people? Do I want to be indoors, outdoors? Do I want to think? Do I want to talk? Do I want to write? Do I want to work on computers? And those are the kind of things that help you develop a career to where you're fulfilled. And that's one thing One Life's all about, is fulfillment. So that's the first thing to figure out, is who in the heck am I? And then from there you go, what's my dream? Where am I going with all of this? And then there's, what's my written plan of action? How am I going to make my dream happen? And then how am I going to fund my dream? And then also equally important is, how am I going to be healthy in my mind, body, and spirit? That holistic health that helps propel you to this magnificent life I feel we're all meant to live.
I can absolutely speak to the health piece. There's a saying that, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And when you're feeling good, it's really easy to take that for granted. But when you have chronic illnesses and you realize just to the degree that stands in your way, anybody that's out there, value your health. Don't assume that it's always going to be good, that you're always going to be slim, you're always going to have that rocket fuel metabolism. Take your health seriously, because if it goes bad, it can be very difficult to get back. And without that energy, without feeling good, it's very difficult to pass that on to others you're in a relationship with. So thank you for putting out that roadmap, Tim. That was absolutely fabulous. Now, you take this roadmap and you have turned it into programs and an entire conference where you bring the youth in to learn how to apply this, right?
Right. Well, there's two things we have going on. One, life conferences, and we're about to do our 10th conference ever, and that's at Sacramento, California on October 21st. And that's for people of all ages, all walks of life. Gosh, we have a thing called Next Gen, where we teach kids just starting to think about, who am I? What's my dream? How am I going to get after it? And we even had an 85-year-old man at last year's conference writing his 5-year-old plan, where he saw himself in 5 years. So that's what we've been doing for the last 7 years, to build this community of what we call one-lifers, who are, tuned in, turned on to their lives and into helping themselves, their family and friends, and their community best play their game. Now we're taking it a step further. And I got to tell you, Brian, this is the piece I'm most excited about. This is why I got up at 4:47 this morning, just raring to go to help inner city people figure this stuff out. We want to go into the places who we think the most. And that's inner city, middle school, high school, the world. We've been doing this. It's called Dare to Dream, and we did it in Philadelphia last fall and got amazed. And we're also doing that on October 20th in Sacramento. And we'll bring in middle school, high school kids that are in the juvenile detention program, kids who are 18 and have been fostered out. We really want to help those that need it most. First, learn basics, that roadmap, if you will. And over time, we hope to go deeper in the schools with a 6-week program with our roadmap, and also helping kids figure out a track. Right now, if you look at it, it's kind of a one side. All the kids are told, you got to go get this 4-year degree. And you know better than anybody, Brian, that's not realistic. For maybe it's so tough. Help them figure out which track will give me the best fulfillment. Should I go to college? Or maybe I should just get a job coming out of high school. Or if I have to draw, maybe I should learn entrepreneurship and go down that. Maybe I could learn, which is really underutilized right now. So there's more than one way to skin opportunities. And like I said earlier, the key is being. So you wake up every day and at least say, gosh, I'm glad to be doing what I'm doing. Way up to, they pay me to, kidding me? That's what you'd hope for. So.
I was raised by entrepreneurs. So I had that bug in me to a certain extent. And when I see the kids that I work with that have ADHD and Asperger's, they have such specialized skill sets. And the school system and a lot of people that are doing the hiring, they think that you should be a generalist and they don't necessarily value the specialist. However, the people they hire to come in, if my pipes are not working, I'm not going to say, so Mr. Plumber, what did you take in school? Because I want to make sure you had a solid liberal arts education before I let you at my pipes. No, I'm going to say, can you fix that leak? Yeah, great. Come on in and I'll pay you.
You're done.
This world, especially now that things are moving more online, this world is really valuing the specialist in a way where the institutions have not caught up yet. Yes. Pardon the background noise. Our alarm keeps going off. I'm going to edit this out later.
No worries, man. It's great.
You don't know why it's doing it. One of those life happens things. But I love the fact that you are reaching out to the kids that, for the most part, people dismiss as bad. These kids have made choices. They deserve to be punished. They deserve what they get. It's their fault. Now, my puppy has just pushed down the gate to come in because they're scared of the sirens. So they want to be by daddy. One of those life moments that just seems to happen, right? But as I was saying, kids that people have this knee-jerk reaction towards, and that reaction tends to be judgment. They don't want to learn the story. They don't want to learn who this kid is. And they don't realize that a lot of these kids want something different. They don't want to live the way they do. But nobody is stepping in. No one is stepping in saying, if you're willing to do the work, I'd like to help you. Yeah. You need some new beliefs. You need some doors open for you. You need to learn some new skills, and you need much better resources than your environment has taught you is available for you.
Yeah.
And it sounds
this
like
is all very true. By the way,
exactly what.
By the way, the teaching, they are trying. There's some California programs that are state of the art. Kids figure out these tracks, and at the fulfillment piece, it is happening. It's just kind of underground and not mainstream, and that's our thing. We want to have a giant effect on the culture. The way we put it is we want to make it cool to care about your life. And if you look at it right now, it's almost the opposite. The culture and the thought process is more just, and I don't want this to sound bad, but there's no hope for you. Why try harder? Why go deep and really think about who you are and how you could create this magnificent life for yourself? And so, and the hard part is a lot of the teachers don't know. The parents don't know this. They don't know what to do. They want to help, but they don't know exactly how to do it. And that's why I feel so good about what we're doing, is because we have the One Life community behind us. Can I give you a couple examples of people in our community that are helping me do this? As I told you when we were talking, if I went into middle schools and high schools, the kids, I'm just older and I'm old school, and I'm like, you know what to do, just freaking do it. That's my style, and it just wouldn't go over. People like a guy named Will Little, who's a street poet in Philly, and he actually was incarcerated for a long time when he was young for a horrible crime he did. And now he's been spending the last, I think it's 18 years of his life in the streets of Philly, just working towards realize, head, don't get in the gangs, get out and make a future. And we're teaching teachings, and he's actually having a get together, friends, people in the community, like 30 or 40 there. And he's going to talk to them about how he turned his life around and what it takes to learn. And this is this. So in their learning, putting it into his life, and now spreading that. Young man named Diego. Diego's about
Tim?
27 years old.
Tim, sorry to interrupt you. Your audio is starting to get really choppy.
Oh.
So I don't know if there's a way to get closer to the Wi-Fi.
How's that? The chat? Oh, this is hilarious.
Revenge
I had
of
to
technical glitches.
Yeah.
I
had to turn my...
I'm all about turning lemons into lemonade. And I just want to take a quick aside here where my fellow podcasters and whatever some of them believe in very heavy editing and things sounding very, very polished. And one of the keys to living any kind of an authentic life is about knowing how to ride the wave. It doesn't show up perfectly. There are bumps, there are hiccups. These things like the audio and the fire alarm going off, these are inconveniences. These are not a big deal, and I'm going to leave it all in, because Tim and I are chuckling about it, because if the worst thing that happens in your day is you have these little glitches, celebrate it, count your blessings. This is nothing. So for those of you who maybe say, oh, man, that's so annoying, and why is he leaving that in? It's not professional. Go listen to somebody else's podcast, okay? Because these are minor inconveniences.
Dance in the rain.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's some lightning and thunder, enjoy the show.
So anyway, there's this gentleman named Diego Corzo who is a dreamer. There's a lot in the news about DACA these days, and Diego is a dreamer. That just don't tell this guy that you can't have the American dream if you come from a tough circumstance. Diego, before he could get a driver's license, owned 6 pieces of real estate. He's 27 years old, and now he's selling real estate, doing really well and investing. And he wants to be financially free by 30. And so Diego is big in the Latino community, and people know Diego and are following the stuff he's teaching and following in his footsteps. They say knowledge is power, and we want to empower the next generation with the right tools. And by the way, I've given a couple ideas of success with money, and I just want to be clear that that's some people's idea of success. It's not others. Others' idea is making a difference or being a good father or mother, and whatever your idea of an successful one life fully lived is, you get to design it. We just feel that knowing the financial piece is a very important piece of it, along with the health and fitness and other things that lead to.
My idea of success is social change.
Exactly.
My mission is to empower and compel the world to be more compassionate towards one another.
Yeah,
you said before that I think it was you wanted to make caring about your life cool.
Yeah.
I want to make cooperation cool and competition less so.
Yes.
Because there is so much one-upmanship that I see, and not a whole lot of extending of the hand saying, we're in this together. Let's help each other out.
Yeah.
Let's succeed as a unit, as opposed to always being at odds.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's collaboration over competition. One Life Fully Lived really fits that model. Do you know Hal Elrod and the Miracle Morning, Brian?
I just heard about him, and his book is on my to-read list.
Oh man, it's a wonderful book, and the people in One Life community, many of us have read the Miracle Practice. A big piece of our day, and Hal is just one. I'm wearing a Brother James. Brother James puts out this beautiful music that fits the One Life vibe. He's got a song called Gratitude. And then there's a Roman, he runs the Front Row Found competitive, both nonprofits that need money to grow, but we help each other. I spread the word of Front Row Foundation and tell everybody the great work John's doing. It's kind of like Make-A-Wish meets Tony Robbins, and John helps us with our conferences and helps advise me of how to do what we do better, and he's talked to high school kids, he's talked to college kids. He knows how to get young people to take something we need. So it's cooperation.
One thing I want to mention for the people that are listening, which is really important, because you mentioned all those and notes, because I know that we're breaking up a little bit here, but I want to make sure that you get this content anyway. But not everybody is comfortable being on like Tim and I are, or we put ourselves out there and we want to bring everybody else together. However, because these are nonprofits, you can donate to the organizations that are creating the kind of change you want to see in the world. So even if you don't want to step on the stage, you can still help the ones taking action to further their mission and shape this world into what you want it to be. So think about it in those terms, like Tim's organization through donations. And is there a way to donate through your site, Tim?
Yeah. What you do is go to onelifefullylived.org support. And we have reached out to me direct. Me an email at tim@timrhode.com. And if you'd like to if you want to affect real social change to those that need it, arm them with tools, arm them with knowledge, arm them with a life, guys. Go back. Think of if you were 18 years old today, and how tough it is. And we want, whether they're 14, 18, or maybe 7, and rediscovering a new purpose for their life. That's what One Life is all about. So we would love donate $250 maybe for a kid to come to our Dare. That's what it costs us per kid. So go to One Life Fully Lived, then check out support One Life. Hey, one thing I want to say, Brian, so I talked about Will Little and I talked about Diego Corzo, and we're also working with Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, foster agencies, CASA. And what I see us doing is we're like a bridge. There's all of these, I look at us like a giant humanity bridge. There's all of these individual groups that need our help in schools. One side of this humanity bridge is myself and some of the others that I've mentioned, and others that are running nonprofits, the next generation, the skills they need to be successful. And crossing communities in a collaborative way, those that tools they need to succeed. So when you talk about social change, man, I would love to get in with some of the leadership groups that most want to help their communities, individuals get somewhere. And I think we're special that can help them.
That is fantastic. Tim, I want to thank you for coming on and for experiencing these wonderful little hiccups.
It's been fun, man.
And not only that, yeah. What you're doing in the world is so profound and so generous and so what's lacking. I'm putting it out there to the universe right now that I hope your organization and your mission becomes huge and absolutely creates a shift we're looking for, because we have this one life and too many kids are being left out. Yeah. And society can't fully experience what it is they have to offer if they are held back for whatever reason, whether it's systemic discrimination that's institutionalized, we know it exists, their own limiting beliefs and their own lack of opportunity. So bless you, Tim, for what you're doing. And one last time, I want to make sure you know Tim's website. It's the number one, lifefullylived.org. Check it out. See what he's doing. If you can donate to help some child who really needs a break be able to afford to attend his conference, or if you want to attend it yourself, that's where you're going to find out the information there. Tim, it's been awesome. I can't wait to do this again sometime. And let's keep in touch, brother.
Sounds great, Brian.
All right.
They are partners in arms. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants to learn more about what I'm up to and my mission of spreading compassion throughout the world, you just have to go to thecompassionatedad.com. Take care, everybody. We really appreciate your time and your attention. We'll see you next time on The Compassionate Dad.